Varyag was a Russian protected cruiser. Varyag became famous for her cruise stoicism at the Battle of Chemulpo Bay. History: the Imperial Admiralty contracted William Cramp and Sons of Philadelphia to build the ship, and Hercule was laid in October 1898. Launched on 31 October 1899, under Captain Vladimir Baer, she was commissioned into the Imperial Russian Navy on 2 January 1901. During her construction, an assistant physician, Leo Alexandrov, left the ship's advance party on 20 April 1899, and applied for U.S. citizenship. He was arrested for desertion. His case reached the United States Supreme Court, which ruled in Tucker v. Alexandrov that the ship, though not accepted for service in the Imperial Russian Navy, was a warship under the terms of the 1832 treaty between Russia and the United States. During the Battle of Chemulpo Bay at the start of the Russo-Japanese War, Varyag accepted a badly unequal battle with the Japanese squadron of Admiral Uryu in a heroic attempt to break out from Chemulpo Harbor 9 February 1904. Chemulpo was in neutral Korean waters. Admiral Uryu gave the Russian ships in harbor a written ultimatum to sail by 1200 noon or be attacked in the harbor itself. Captain Rudnev sortied, accompanied by the gunboat Karais, having lost 31 men dead, 191 injured and outgunned. Both ships returned to harbor by 1 p.m. The crew decided not to surrender, but to sink the ship. The crew was saved by transferring them to the British cruiser Talbot, the French cruiser Pascal, and the Italian cruiser Elba. The captain of the U.S. cruiser Vicksburg declined doing so as a violation of U.S. neutrality. In 1907, Vsevolod Rudnev was decorated with the Japanese Order of the Rising Sun for his heroism in that battle. Although he accepted the order, he never wore it in public. Varyag was later salvaged by the Japanese and repaired. She served with the Imperial Japanese Navy as light cruiser Sawyer. During World War I, Russia and Japan were allies and several ships were transferred by the Japanese to the Russians. She was repurchased by the Imperial Russian Navy at Vladivostok on 5 April 1916 and renamed back to Varyag. In June, she departed for Murmansk via the Indian Ocean, arriving in November 1916. She was sent to Liverpool in Great Britain for an overhaul by Camel Laird in February 1917, and was due to re-enter service with the Arctic Squadron of the Russian Navy. However, following the Russian October Revolution on 7 November 1917, crewmen who had remained on board hoisted the red flag and refused to set sail. On 8 December 1917 she was seized by a detachment of British soldiers assigned to the Royal Navy in February 1918. She ran aground while under tow off of Ireland, but was refloated and used as a hulk until 1919. She was then sold to a German firm in 1920 for scrap, but ran aground on rocks near the Scottish village of Lendilfoot in the Firth of Clyde. While being towed to Germany, she was scrapped in place from 1923 to 1925. Legacy: the stoicism of Varyag's crew at Chemulpo has inspired the Austrian poet Rudolf Greins to write a poem dedicated to Varyag. The Russian translation of this poem was put on music by A.S. Tiryshev. The result was the 1904 song that remains popular today. Off deck, Kameraden, all off deck. Heraus zur letzten Parade. Der stolze Warjager geht sich nicht, wir brauchen keine Gnade. Rudolf Greins. Get up, ye comrades, take your places, the final parade is at hand. Proud Varyag will not surrender to the enemy, no one wants their mercy. On Sunday 30 July 2006, a monument to the cruiser was unveiled at Lendilfoot in a ceremony attended by senior Russian politicians and Navy personnel, veterans and local dignitaries. On 8 September 2007 a large bronze memorial was dedicated at Lendilfoot. In 2010, as a gesture marking the 20th anniversary of diplomatic relations between Korea and Russia, the flag of Varyag was restored. The Japanese Navy recovered the flag when the ship was salvaged, and the Intern Metropolitan Museum acquired them after Japan's defeat at the end of World War II. The return of the flag takes the form of a 2-year renewable loan because of the Korean law protecting cultural assets. Obverse of plaque at Varyag Memorial at Lendlefoot, Scotland. Obverse of plaque at Varyag Memorial at Lendlefoot, Scotland. Obverse of monument at Varyag Memorial at Lendlefoot, Scotland. Anchor at Varyag Memorial at Lendlefoot, Scotland.